Greetings and welcome. I am Joffrey, and today I am joined by Vector Maximus and Darkest Light, and my closet door is really open right now. It's closed. Whatever. Um, we're here today to talk about Scotland. Insert screaming Scotsman from Samurai Jack, because that is the best.
Scotland forever.
Though I do think that the Scotsman from Samurai Jack is the best. I'm sorry. William Wallace didn't do it as much for me. Uh, but Scotland is once again in peril. When is it not? When is it not? Yes, the stream is all working properly. Good. So, the Kingdom of Scotland. We have your opening text crawl. A mere generation ago, our national hero, King Robert the Bruce, freed us from English rule alongside the infamous martyr William Wallace. Now his successor, the Bairn, King David II the Bruce, lies exiled in France as our loyal nobility continues their struggle against Balliol, the English king's lackey who falsely claims the Scottish crown. Hendrix is going to wrap himself in a blanket. Oh, I wish I was wrapped in a blanket right now. Though the people of our realm are currently united in cause, this is not guaranteed to last. Embedded in our kingdom are deep cultural and societal divisions, especially between the wealthy English-speaking Scots, the Scottish burghers of the lowlands, and the Highland people who dwell in the inland hills. Yes, we'll have to take a look at the nature of this civil war more along cultural lines as well, I'm sure, if that is the case. The fate of Scotland is at risk. A mere generation ago, the illegitimate King Robert the Bruce expelled the English from the country and crowned himself king. As the legitimate heir of the previous King Johann de Balliol, his son Edward Balliol has laid a claim to the Scottish throne, along with his English-backed supporters. He plans to fight against the usurper and return Scotland to its legitimate ruler. So you have the two sides of the start
A
of the
different
situation.
perspective.
I like that. So I guess, yeah, the two different Scotlands have their opening text crawl. Yeah. It's over.
See, you also know which one is the legitimate. Paradox thinks is legitimate because the one with Scotland has the Bruces, and the one with the Balliols is just called Balliol.
No, they're called de Balliol.
Yeah, I know. That shows you the Bruces rule the actual Scotland tag.
I think that they comment on this even. Yeah, it's basically Balliol is the one launching the invasion and using. He's essentially the aggressor, which is why he is the revolter tag and not the Bruces. Was their logic essentially?
I don't know, historically speaking, whether or not both sides were referred to as the Bruce family. I assume they would be, especially since the guy who's currently in charge is apparently a bastard. No, he's a descendant of a bastard. He's called de Murray. So is that a different dynasty then?
No. So he is the regent.
Yeah, the heir is underage and in France.
Yes.
Oh yeah, they did say that. Okay. I mean, he's a very good regent to beat back.
Yes, he
Balliol.
is. Compare him to Edward, who is not very good.
King Edward of Balliol is we'll say a challenging start. Hey, at least he's 54 years old, so you won't have to play him for all that long. Hopefully he's got some better heirs. The only problem for Scotland is that it starts in a civil war between the followers of King David the Bruce, who was exiled to France, and those of King Edward Balliol, nominally backed by the English crown. And this makes for a very different and interesting setup, therefore. Also, as always, please remember that any UI is work in progress. Edward looks like he's 5 foot tall. He's probably like 5'4", I bet, with his height difference. Unless Andrew looks like he's pretty normal with the way he fits in the frame, about halfway up and down. So Edward might be like 5'4" or some such thing. Let me Right. Edward looks like he's 5 foot. So, yes, the starting situation of the Scottish Civil War, and it is indeed, just like they were implying, very split along cultural lines. Though the fact that the Isles are, I guess, a vassal of Balliol is curious. Would not have expected that. But Balliol, yes, is very much along a it's the Scots side of things. I don't know who won this war historically, but the fact that the Scots are primarily along the side of Balliol, while the Highlanders are primarily the supporters of the current reigning monarch, is not a good sign. Scotland, Trig! It's Scotland forever! Yes. Starting situation for David Bruce. He's at war. England? Is that war with England? What? England is an enemy.
France is guaranteeing what England is an enemy, has selected Scotland as a rival.
Civil War. So that means he is fighting England.
No.
No. Oh. England's rivaled them.
Rivaled.
Basically, it's equivalent to that because it's different in this game. We don't know enough specifics about that. Oh.
What?
Where's Leno?
What?
Leno, I'm sorry to kidnap you for a second. We're doing a Tinto talk on Scotland right now. Remember I told you that there was an outline that looks like Durham, like where Durham was, looked like a tag. Yeah, in the Scotland image here we're looking at now. I'll post it for you later. Unless you want to look at it now online. Yeah, Durham's on the map as a tag. So I just wanted to tell you that. Sorry for kidnapping you.
That's good.
You can come back if you want to.
Thank you for letting me know.
I needed to tell you. Durham's on the map. We could do Theocratic Britain.
Theocratic Britain. Theocratic Britain.
Direct rule from the Presbyterian Church.
From the Presbyterian Church. Let's go. No. All right, you guys have fun.
See you. All right. Fuck. Oh. I needed to kidnap him because we were just the other day talking about that. That's so good. Yes. I mean, it's probably an impossible game, but still. Alright. So, King Edward Balliol does in fact have the Isles as a vassal. That is actually what's going on there. Stop snapping me!
Okay. Do you want to know who won?
Yes.
Scotland, not Balliol.
No, I mean, actually, that's a good thing. I don't know why I'm about to say no, but actually, that's a good thing. Yeah.
Because at least from what I can see here, David II of Scotland ruled until 1371.
The fact that they made Andrew very much adequate, we'll say.
According to Balliol's Wikipedia page, he ruled parts of Scotland until 1356. So he eventually loses, but it also wasn't he got smacked down immediately.
So it was not a like the whole time. So there were like starts and stops. It wasn't like a full on.
Yeah.
Because the way this game represents it is theoretic. I mean, we'll read on it. Maybe they do something different for it, but I doubt it. Most likely, it's just a game start, fight to the finish, like they say normal civil wars are, where as soon as you occupy someone's land, you instantly yoink it back. It most likely will just be a case of, well, they fight, one of them wins, it's done. The Balliol will very quickly grab this corner, unless there's a Scottish army there at game start. I'm curious if if their armies are raised at game start. Because, well, I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we won't get to zoom. That is a goofy looking man. He looks like young Napoleon. My opinion. Looks like a younger version of Napoleon. But
He's a child.
he is. This is true. That tends to, because yeah. Let's start with the content related to the Civil War. Both sides have events available to them, but let's focus on a couple that you'll get when starting as Scotland. The supporters of the Bruce. So you get the King's Education, and you work. You're dealing with the fact that he's hanging out in France. Yes. Dispatch an educator from the lowlands to tutor him, Highland chieftain to instill a sense of duty and courage, or the tutelage of a French courtier is surely the noblest of all. Could you become French?
Yes.
Yeah, for the most cursed timeline, yes.
That is the most cursed timeline. 0% of primary culture. I mean, we don't know how changing your primary culture based on your rulers works, but aftermath of Haldian Hill. Much turmoil has engulfed Scotland in the years since the Battle of Haldian Hill in 1333. So, okay. So the child was forced into exile by the English back to Balliol. Yes, but the forces loyal to the Child King do win in the end, theoretically. But, well, the king is safely a guest of the court of France. Murray has installed himself as a regent until the remnant Balliol holdings can be dealt with. We shall force Balliol's hand or we'll defeat them? They're going to tell us what these do? Because this is the canon outcome. What does force Balliol's hand do?
Don't know.
The child portrait will levitate in event pictures. No, you're right, Gimalt. It's not gonna be like CK3 where you have this really wonky child portrait that kind of swaying around. Though he's not a baby, so. King David's name has changed. In the previous event, we selected the second option, a Highlander chieftain, so the culture of the king has changed, and now his name is reflecting that since he has a different variant available. I think I would probably, most of the time, I would probably pick the Highland chieftain option because it's mostly Highlanders that are supporting you, so it would be pretty thematic to become just more Gaelic. To follow your supporters that way. The French option is really funny, of course. It's interesting. There's no canon outcome to this, so I don't know realistically what his culture was. But made it so that the outcome of the Civil War is not an instant game end. If while playing as Scotland you lose to Balliol, an event will pop up so you can decide to continue playing with them or not. That's up to the player. This would be the result. So, this would tell us King of Scotland. King Edward Balliol ruling over a once again unified Scotland. So if you lose as Scotland to Balliol, you would have an option to just swap to playing as the new dynasty.
Yep.
That's a good thing. It's a good thing they do that. Yeah. Gosh, pretender rebels are going to be so bad in this because they're not just a rebel. They straight up are a new realm in your land. Shires of Scotland. Let's now move towards the structural content you get. So you do get, yes, government reforms, unique ones, aristocracy, and individualism. I don't remember what the opposite of individualism is, or what either of them do. So
Communalism, it might be.
Maybe, but I don't remember what either of them do is the main point.
Oh yeah, no, I don't remember either.
I don't know what the benefits and disadvantages of them are. Collectivism, as you're saying, yes, it likely is, but I don't know what the significance was. The name sounds familiar towards it, but this sounds, moving more to the point, this looks like a really good modifier. The Shires of Scotland. Maximum tax. That is not a modifier that I believe we've seen. Max tax. I don't know how that works, but hey, Hendrix, you said you were going to sleep. Stop. Stop playing whatever that is. I don't know what FTL is, but stop doing that. Go to sleep. Tax efficiency is pretty obvious, of course. You just make more money, of course, out of whatever tax you're making. I'm sure there's negatives and positives. But max rural control and levy size are the biggest ones I'm looking at here, because a 15% boost to levy size, it doesn't say, it shows a picture of a pitchfork, but it doesn't specify what kind of levies. It doesn't say, like, extra from the peasants. So this implies to me that it is just whatever kind of levies you're raising, just all of them 15% more, which is that's a large number. You see the levy size down below. Yes, and in the Scottish clans down here, you say nobles levy size. That is a specific one. It specifies noble levies, and that's where you can see the image. There's the little like pitchfork in the shield image there, which is the symbol for levies, and then there's the image for the noble estate next to it, and this is another big modifier. So I think that what's going on here is that you like if you're playing Scotland with both of these, this means that you would have a total of an extra 45% noble levies, because you would add the 15% on top. Presumably. Don't know for sure, though. Most of your levies are going to be the nobles at the moment. We don't know, and I'm curious whether this is an additive or a multiplicative modifier. That's the thing. Is it 15% on top? Is it just you also add the 15%, or is it 15% of the total? I don't know. But not to get too bogged down in the tediums of how good this is, we know this is good, regardless. You're going to get lots of nobles. You're going to have some big, beefy Scottish noble levies, which are going to be powerful, because nobles are the levies that are the most strongest. 45% noble pops, you risk losing. This is also true, Eric. If you lose a battle, or even are taking attrition, or anything, if you lose those nobles, that is going to take time to get them back. And Hendrix is playing Faster and Light again, okay. Also, I think a sleeper bonus here is the max rural control, because we've seen this a few times, but don't know exactly how that works. Where there's this concept that rural territories are, it's just harder to have a higher. He's doing this to me on purpose now. He's actively starting the game and starting it up just to mess with me now. He probably is. We don't know how this maximum amount of control works, or we have not seen enough of the math behind it, of course, but it's nice. I like it. Now, moving along, though. Scottish clans makes the nobles more powerful. This is not a tribe thing. This is specifically that the clans have a lot of power, and such the noble families. You are not tribal anymore, but I'm sure there are plenty of tribal pops up in the Highlands to a degree. But Traditionalist gets a pretty beefy boost, which is not a surprise. And while this does seem pretty nice, there's very few in the way of negatives here. I personally imagine myself to be someone who would prefer innovative over traditionalism in EU5, but early game traditionalism is probably going to be better. Hard to say for sure. At least for Scotland, definitely. Royal Burgh Commissioners. Progress towards plutocracy. Plutocracy. That's an odd one. Plutocracy and traditionalism. With max urban control going up. This also seems really nice. It just... Very, curious. why they would stick. Plutocracy and traditionalism didn't stand out to me as being especially good as a combination, but who knows? Who knows? I don't know enough about the modifiers. There is the clans estate, unique name for tribesmen. The way to represent the Highlanders from a pop-type perspective, which also allows us to have them operating as a different estate. Yes, delightful. And they have United Scottish Heritage, which lowers development but increases control everywhere? For generations, the clans of rural northern Highlands have retained their Gaelic identity, while the clans of the lowlands have largely developed their own Scots culture. Despite differing practices, the clans of the Highlands and lowlands will set aside their differences to fight foreign adversaries threatening Scotland. It's a very, very small boost to development. This seems like it's mostly a not good thing, I'm going to be honest. But who knows, maybe giving the extra satisfaction to the clans is worthwhile. They do have a full 9,000 members. Decreasing control to raise development is it's a hard pill to swallow. Don't know enough about how bad that percent control loss is, but a full 0.1 seems like a pretty big dip in control growth. So, I don't know. Fort defense. Man rent. You rent a boy? Just what? What? Engaging in contractual conscription work, many members of the clans enter the service in various fortifications. I don't know how this works. Contractual conscription work. I guess it's just that they have a particular tendency to make these contracts as opposed to normal conscription. I don't know. I guess, but it make because it's a tribal one too. These are both tribal ones. Okay, I get that then. Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of clans one. Oh boy, well, that's a shame because the clans are definitely not going to be something you want to keep around. But a fosterage too, or extra research speed sounds very nice. Ensuring the tutoring of the next generation of clans through their fosterage in neighboring families, they'll ensure the passage of knowledge and cement bonds of kinship and alliance between them. Creech! Crack! 5% livestock output. That's fine. It's not huge, but it's worth noting. Maybe you'll want to focus more on livestock production as a result of this. What to say?
Don't want to have any beef with the clans.
You won't want to if they start with all of these, that's for sure. You won't want to have any beef with them, because otherwise they won't give you their extra beef output. Because I assume they have all of these already, like, given out at game start. It's hard. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, that would be my assumption as well.
Oh, it says implemented. Yeah, I didn't see that, but yeah, it says implemented. Oh, wait. These ones all say implemented on the start date of the game. This one says implemented earlier, so I don't know. Maybe these are ones they've just added for the sake of showing them off. But in any case, there is a law with 3 different policies? No active policy. Law, distribution of Scots clan holdings. So if you enable this law, it allows 3 new policies. I don't know what the exclamation mark over dynastic holdings is, but I guess we'll find out. They all say 100% implemented. Yes, they are all 100% implemented, which you would think means that they've been implemented for a longer time, but I don't know. It's not that important, all things considered, but I think it's fair to assume then that they have them all to start with. At least as of now. But direct inheritance distributed by the crown and dynastic holdings is curious because Scottish holdings are divided proportional to clan influence, with larger clans receiving more holdings, and clan holdings are passed directly to the heir unless a title is revoked or goes extinct. So, theoretically, that means primogeniture. Direct inheritance. which gives it decentralization and less crown power, because yes, they're retained within the clan. Clans, all the noble families deal with their own inheritance. Yes, gives less speed for integration of vassals as well. But it makes the estates more happy, and maybe you want decentralization for some reason. It also gives you extra legitimacy, which I'm sure is lovely. Curious if they're debugged in? Yes, exactly. They could well be debugged in. But no way for us to know for sure at this point, unless Johan felt like answering a question in the answers at the bottom here of that, which I doubt. Distributed by the crown, on the other hand, also is decentralization, but it's less crown power. It's less everything. It's just the midpoint, obviously. Newly established holdings and titles are assigned by the crown's preference. Larger clans are typically favored as allies by the crown and receive the lion's share of new titles. Dynastic holdings, on the other hand, revoke privilege cost goes down. Oh, this looks really nice. Monthly centralization progress goes up by 0.02, and revoke privilege cost by 25%. Crown power goes up 15%, as opposed to it going down. So you as a full 25% boost, going from the worst to the best. That's a lot. And it sounded like you were about to say something, Vector.
Just direct rule from the crown
Yes.
instead of letting the clans do what they want.
New holdings and titles default to the ruling dynasty, only rarely being given out by the crown to other Scots clans. So, yes, this is full control by the ruling dynasty indeed. Estate enrichment is a curious modifier. I'm not certain exactly what this means. Perhaps actually, I figure I do know, because
this might be related to the estates getting money from lack of control.
What's the opposite?
So
because the estates gain money when you have control.
I can't remember, but I imagine this is a modifier for that.
I imagine it is probably because we don't know whether or not the estates get money siphoned off of what you would otherwise get, or whether it's just like money that just pops into existence for them. Presumably, since this is a positive modifier, estate enrichment, this is theoretically a 10% reduction on what they take from you. Probably. And this one they do not obviously have. It does not tell us which of these three policies they have either. So I don't know. Takes days to implement. Yeah. Maybe they don't have any of them. Maybe they got something else. Ooh, clan seat. Two unique buildings. They have clan seats. The clan seat is a fort constructed out of stone that serves as each clan's stronghold. These structures can be utilized by the clan to exert their unique position in our society. Assimilation speed down 50%. Woo! Woo!
The Highlanders do not assimilate.
Which makes me curious about the fact that they could build this in a different region. They could build this in a region that isn't their own culture.
Build it in France.
Yeah, if you're conquering England, they could build it. You take Durham, the glorious temple of Durham, and they could build a clan seat there. And then you'd never assimilate the Anglos. Sheesh. I mean, all things considered, other than the minus assimilation speed, this is a pretty nice building for the nobles to make, and I'd be more than happy for them to go ahead and make it. It's just that assimilation speed is rough, because again with the traditionalism going up thing too, I am a player who much prefers to have strong cultural assimilation, strong crown, but I have not played EU5 yet. Because I have not played EU5 yet, I don't know. Because I'm also someone who really likes vassals. And because I like vassals, it may well be the case that I like a strong nobility and a strong decentralized realm. Might be locked to Highlander culture. Not sure. Not sure. But they're not specifying it. Just know that it's something that the nobles can make, symbolized by this shield here. The nobles make it. It is unlocked by the start of the game, and it employs 250 nobles. But it also makes the nobles require a lot less food, which means you can have even more. You can have a lot of nobles this way. Which, because they're the main thing you levy, it's going to be really nice. You have very strong noble levy. So if the noble estate gets strong and they build this, could be very handy, though. It'll make them more difficult to revoke their power later on. The Peel Tower. This is also a noble building? Huh. It looks like it's a noble building, because I'm pretty sure that's what the shield means. Maybe I'm misinterpreting it, and that this is just a building that is defensive in nature, because the fort level. Perhaps the estates don't make these, and these are unique to you specifically, which would be also quite likely. But this gives you extra prosperity growth, which is curious. But the main thing that this is doing for you is 1,000 soldiers are employed here. You get an extra 100 garrison size and a fort level. Delightful. You could theoretically stack these and have a very strong defense indeed. The Peel Tower is a defensive building which enhances the local fortifications and makes the land recover from devastating conflicts faster. The -50 just applying to the Scots culture, so it's hard to assimilate them. I do not believe that that is the case. I believe that this is the county, the location that this is built in, has a additional 50% penalty to assimilation speed, which means that it would simply not be happening if you have no policies in place to increase it, because you can speed up assimilation through having your ministers do it. But if you didn't have that happening, then there would be just none happening here. Because a key thing with assimilation is that unless when a place is your core, the only pop growth that happens is growth of your primary and accepted cultures. However, well, actually, that's curious, because theoretically the Scots the Scots culture is ruling, and then you'd have the Gaelic Highlanders that are accepted, but hard to say for sure. I don't know. Note, no zone of control. Oh, that's a good point. Do the normal forts specify zone of control?
Yes.
Oh, well, I won't go looking then. I'll trust your word. Well, in that case, these are something that you would prefer to stack on top of a fort that already exists, as opposed to just littering the countryside with them. Unique cultural building that can only be built in Scots provinces. We don't know. We do not know if these buildings. We do not know if unique buildings need the location to be the specific culture. Or if it just needs the ruling country to have that culture. We do not have that confirmation yet, as far as I'm aware. Presbyterian Education Act. Woo! Progress towards humanist and free subjects goes up substantially. And it moves you towards innovative. Well then. Oh, traditionalism is the opposite. I thought, yeah, innovative is something else, I think. But, yeah, humanist, I guess, is the opposite of traditionalism. Itchy mustache. Only 7 stability to lose when doing this. Well, whatever. Oh, Parliament issue. Oh, it's a Parliament issue. Of course. It does not do anything about increasing like religion stuff though. College of Justice. Change policy cost goes down 10%, and extra centralization boost. This is okay. Scotland is really a traditional early game and gets a lot of bonuses to that. But it sounds like there's quite a few ways that they later game lean into the later game playstyle as well. I like this, actually. That's neat. Having stuff that you really change the way you're playing mid-game. That sounds quite fun. You unlock the Scottish civil law policy, which we'll theoretically see. Uh, a bunch of advances. Today we'll show mostly late game ones as they've been requested previously. The advances that Scotland gets in the Age of Revolutions, which is quite a late game, and they hadn't even existed at that point anymore as an independent tag. Yes. So English Scottish longbowmen. You get warbows in the beginning of the game. So okay, Scotland has longbows, fair enough. With the ties to England strengthened, we shall incorporate part of their military tactics into our army. Warbows. Nothing too complicated to make them, just weapons, leather, and wood. Only in effect while being debated. Issue being debated gives you the progress, yeah. And then it gives you, you're right. Once it's finished being debated, you no longer get these bonuses. You unlock the law, and it gives you a flat progress towards centralization. Yes. It is curious how that works in this game. I quite like it, though. And establish Highlander regiments. That is not a symbol for an age I recognize. I don't know. Age of Absolute.
Bagpipes of war.
What? Oh, sound the pipes of war. Yeah. Why do they get the Highlanders later in the game? This is a late game.
That's actually a British thing, really, where they had like Highlander regiments. You know, like the red coats with kilts.
Oh yeah,
that's what those are.
That kind of Highlander, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, it's red coats.
Yeah, these aren't the big Scottish clans from the Middle Ages with the massive Zweihanders and such. No, these are the British Highlander regiments.
Oh, you're right, Azrael. You're right. I didn't read that. Specific advance for a Balliol-ruled Scotland. If Balliol takes over, they incorporate some of the English techniques into their warfare. I was confused a little bit why, okay, Scotland has warbows, whatever. Well, in this case, maybe I wanna try and win as Balliol so I can get those warbows.
But Scotland forever.
But Scotland forever, and the real Giga Chad way to do it is to play as the Scotland tag and have your character be educated by a Highland chief so that you can bring Gaelic culture to the whole of the Isles. Yes. You must liberate Ireland and defeat the Anglos. Forget their long bows. Yes. And yes, as the game goes on, of course, the regiment sizes do increase. Scotch whiskey. I mean, I don't drink, but apparently it's good. Sturdy grains output and liquor output. So you get a small increase to your grain output so that you can make more liquor. So that's funny. That's 2 different times we've seen countries so far that make better alcohol, though this is later in the game. So Age of Revolution. So this is like at the end. It's kind of funny. Yeah, and you unlock the production method for Scotch whiskey. Grain, pots, glass.
We love alcohol.
Delicious, I'm sure. I hear everyone drinks it for the taste, after all.
No other reason.
There's no other reason people drink it. Wow. Age of Revolution. So like at the end of the game, you get your extra cultural influence and research speed. This is a really nice modifier. This is a really good advance to get. I love this. 20% research progress and 0.05 cultural influence. So this is going to be way better for both your cultural offense and your ability to grab more techs as the game goes on. Because as the game goes on, you're going to start to run out of time to grab all those techs. Because they've described this as a game where this is not a game where someone will get every tech. There will always be some that you simply will not get. Wealth of Nations. There is a late game event that may lead you to get this important work of art. You can have Adam Smith write the Wealth of Nations for you. Well, isn't that curious? Wealth of Nations lays the foundation for modern economic systems. The idea of a free market. And much, much more. But that's all for today, my fellow colleagues, St. Dave, UK, and Roger Cromnath will be replying instead of me today. Yes, okay. Oh, and next week we'll be looking at the Kingdom of Ethiopia. Yes, another person outside of Europe. Because my concern is always, of course, that Europe will be overloaded with content compared to the rest. Mind you, we've seen plenty of evidence that the game is going to be full of content for various people. But still, just curious, just curious. I don't have all that much time left before I have to go for work, so I'll take a glance through dev responses. Take a glance, but I won't have all that much time. Scroll faster, scroll faster. Sorry, it's March of the Eagles too. Yes, of course. It's a cool map image in the dev comments. Well. European countries can have tributaries under some conditions. That's neat. Okay, never mind. The Isles have unique content. The Isles have something, though it's not much. Okay, so because of the fact that yeah, the Isles have the Norse. They've got like the Scottish Norse or something, which is like the culture in the game that is the most people it shares a heritage with, which is really funny. That sounds like a game I'd love to play just because of how silly that is. You gotta turn everyone to Norse Gaelic. The Anglo-Norman and Scottish Normans to be essentially absorbed into the English and Scots culture by this point. The lingering influence of the Norman conquest is represented already by the fact that most of the British countries have the Norman court language. All right. That does mean, of course, you just gotta abandon that. You gotta abandon that and embrace your embrace the Gaelic roots. England expects the Treaty of Newcastle to be fulfilled if Balliol wins, Scotland becoming an English vassal and ceding the border provinces to England. But Balliol can choose to renege on that deal. Curious, indeed.
I believe they have a map posted later of that exact treaty in game.
Gemalt is saying that there's a cool map image, so I'll take a look. Only one clan seat building. Only one clan seat building could be made per tile. You can only do the Presbyterian thing if you are actually Presbyterian, yeah?
I can't believe this.
Brythonic only.
So Welsh and Cornish.
The Red Dragon. Brythonic boys only. Yeah, exactly. Yes, as Vector was saying earlier, that Baliol is the claimant trying to take the throne, and hence is the aggressor, and therefore is not the tag of Scotland. Yes. Yes. Hen Ogledd
Alright, I'm back. Sorry.
is a unique tag that can be formed. Just reading comments now. Just reading comments. Hen Ogledd is a Brythonic England or Great Britain. Is a unique tag that can be formed if the Brythonic country has reacquired their rightful territory of the Scottish Lowlands and Northumbria.
So like the Welsh.
Huh?
The
So
Welsh.
so
Welsh or the Cornish.
so the Welsh or Cornish. So if you're playing as Wales, get independent from England and then snake up and grab the Scottish God, that sounds so
Yes.
horrible.
I dropped from a CK3 mod to make it in the chat to give an idea of the area they're talking about.
Oh, that's horrible. I mean, it's at least
Yeah.
it's different from. I mean, it's pretty bad though. Still, Jesus. Can England and France intervene? No. No. British Isles map review is not complete. You can get it. You can get the Wealth of Nations as Great Britain. Makes sense. I wonder, like, can Scotland make Great Britain? Like, what formables can Scotland make? Because presumably
Scotland can make Great Britain. Yes.
presumably you can if you are Scots culture, but I don't know if you could if you're Gaelic. Presumably,
I believe you can. I believe you can. It's just that it gets a different name.
maybe.
Like I think that would probably be, Albion or something like that.
Are there anything on the level of EU4's Diwan, Siberian Frontiers, Egyptian Modernization, Doom that radically changes how a nation plays? Yes, there are, but here we're focusing more on smaller and localized flavor. Yeah, rather than more extensive mechanics. They will, yeah. It wouldn't be a super secret project otherwise. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. They typically have a given, like, there's going to be a dev diary that explains the HRE, a dev diary that explains the Ilkhanate, all that. Don't you remember the cursed break? I completely forgot. You're right, Azrael. I completely forgot about the cursed Great Britain flag. It's horrible though. It is horrible. I don't. Oh, no, actually, it's fine. I like it. I'm definitely gonna do that. Hmm. David the Second is he's predefined to have poor fertility, but you might get a miracle. Oh God. Edward's a bit older than David, so it's a bit late for him to get some education. Yeah. Use the British terms. That's true English. No. The standard we use for his American spelling. Look at all these negatives. Look at all these negatives. People are so mad at using the American ones.
Tough shit.
Dude, who
Glorious
cares?
USA.
Right, Harvard, not Harvard. No, they're so mad. I could not care. Dude, as a Canadian, I could not give less of a damn. I see them both every day. Scotland's name changes to Alba if their court language or primary culture's language is Gaelic. Hey, all you gotta do, choose the Gaelic chieftain. I'm so happy about that. I like, yeah, you could just throw. That's really funny. You pick the side you want to lose, throw the war, and then just continue playing.
Lead all the troops. Just go home, boys.
Oh no! Oh, oh! If you, if the Treaty of Newcastle goes through, that is gross.
Honestly, it could be worse.
Could it?
Yes, because it could also include the Western Peninsula bit and just leave Scotland with the northern part.
That would look better. Better. Instead, they've given them all the. Like, they've given them the whole thing. You've got to cut it off at the peninsula. If you're gonna do this deal, cut it off at the peninsula. But the nobles would never accept that. I mean,
Yeah, instead, we just cede everything up to Edinburgh.
yes. English Dominion is here. Yeah. Dude, I mean,
Yeah. In all honesty, my first game is probably going to be as England because that was my first game in EU4. So probably will be my first one in EU5 too. So I hope Balliard wins and then bends the knee.
You gotta just throw money at them. Stewards can. Oh, okay, there's actually content related to the stewards potentially taking power. Neat, neat. But for now, gonna have to wrap this up because I do need to get to work and I would hate to be late. So I will thank you all for watching as we yap about the Scotland flavor. And I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.